when I started the firm in 2008, all of a sudden next year it's, oh, my neighbor's son needs an internship. Can he shadow you? And just over the years, it was more of just come hang out. And people in criminal law are used to having interns. I was a certified legal intern at the state attorney's office. So if you're a PD or a prosecutor, you're used to having interns around who can really do a lot of work and help. And plus, it's fun. But in COVID, everything changed. We took on 13 interns. Now it was all on Zoom and people thought I was crazy. But what did we have to do during May, June, and July? Not much. And so we gave them a great experience. It was on Zoom. They went to Zoom court, depositions, the Zoom depots. And I was like, okay, this is evolving. And I looked at it. And honestly, this was direct from Ben Glass, one of my mentors. He really ingrained in me is,
Love Ben.
yes, we do. Of just, Adam, if you believe that you are the best firm out there, then it's your duty to grow. And if you're helping people, it's your duty to grow. And if you want to be that community influencer, the pillar of the community, then it's your duty to do things. And I thought about it during COVID. And I was like, everybody's losing their amazing summer plans. People are reaching out to me for internships. We're going to take everybody because we are that community and relationship builder. We are pillars here. So it's our duty, it's our moral obligation to do it. And we did. And it ended up being great. And then we've iterated it over the years. So now, 2025, it's like version 5.0.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time you're listening to the 10 Golden Rules of Internet Marketing for Law Firms podcast, welcome aboard. Great to have you here. Great guest today, Adam Rossen. He's a two-timer. He's looking for that SNL five-timers jacket, but he's going to have to really blow you away today to get to number 3. But he's got some awesome stuff on grassroots marketing. We'll get to that in just 1 minute. I like to put one little personal plug in every one of these podcasts. And I thought today I'd say, does your agency suck? Are your leads down? Or is your SEO down? Does your internet marketing agency not give you any reporting? Hey, that's what we do at 10 Golden Rules. I don't talk about it a lot, but if your agency is not giving you the goods and you're not getting the results, just find me, Jay at 10goldenrules.com, or go to 10 Golden Rules, or Jay Berkowitz anywhere on LinkedIn or any of the social media. We'd be happy to do a free audit and show you exactly how you're performing relative to your competitors. And maybe we can help with your digital marketing. That's why we do all of this at the end of the day. Adam, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a two-time guest, and congratulations. Adam was also a two-time speaker at TGR Live, our Internet Marketing for Law Firms Growth Strategies Conference. So Adam, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me again. And I want to say, apparently I did such a bad job talking about YouTube the first go around that you replaced me with Jeff Hampton, who has 100x the views, the subscribers, and everything that I do. No, but in all seriousness, Jeff was
Jeff is
amazing.
crazy good, right?
Oh, I know. It was amazing. I got a chance to talk to him afterwards and he gave me some great tips, and him and I have been talking since. So that was awesome. So now that this year I talked about the community, the way we do some community marketing with our internship programs. I'm sure next year you'll have somebody that's just doing 10 times better than me again. And then I'll find something else to talk about and then get replaced eventually.
Oh, but you guys are great at local community marketing and grassroots marketing. And I see so much of your activity, and we're in a couple mastermind groups, and we're going to talk about all of that today as well. First, give everyone a little bit of an intro. Tell us about your personal journey and the law firm for folks who didn't hear the first go round.
Right. So this I'll make quick. So Adam Rossen Law Firm, we're criminal, DUI, federal white collar attorneys. So basically anything under the realm of criminal defense. We help good people when bad things happen so they can achieve their best future. We are in South Florida. We're looking to expand and grow, but I started the firm when I was 26 years old. I was a prosecutor for about 2 years and just I thought it was going to be amazing, and I didn't like it. I wanted to help people, and I didn't think I was helping people in that way. So we've had the firm since 2008. But really, I'd say last 10 years is really when we started growing, and from just, oh, I'm a good lawyer to a real business. And so we run on business systems. We have core values, mission, vision, 1, 3, 5-year plan. We run on EOS. and we've become a lot more
We love
intentional on
EOS,
our
by the way.
goals. Yes.
It seems we talk about it, I would say 2 out of every 3 podcasts. And I don't think it's not a fluke. Like success leaves clues is a Tony Robbins line.
Right.
And we have very successful folks on this podcast just by its nature, right? And EOS is aligned with so many successful law firms and so many successful businesses today. So if you haven't checked it out, do yourself the favor and read the book. By the way, I always say, read the book, Get a Grip, because everybody gets the book Traction. I keep them right here for that reason. And everybody hears, oh, Traction. But most founders, business founders, law firm founders, visionaries are going to try and read the book Traction. They're going to get bogged down. Like it's
Right.
a tough read. And I believe Get a Grip is a much better way to get introduced to EOS because it's written in a parable and a story format.
Right. You're absolutely right. No, I agree. It took me, I think I read Traction 2 or 3 times until I finally
Yeah.
was able to understand it and let the concepts sink in. And one thing that's been instrumental to me is to hire a professional implementer. We hired Caesar, and I know you had his partner Gerardo there at TGR Live. It was amazing to see Gerardo. I love Gerardo and just their entire company, The Profit Recipe. I want to give them a quick shout out because they really have changed our lives, my life, the firm's lives, and by proxy, my entire team's lives. And they're amazing people, great business coaches. And I don't know where we'd be if we didn't have Caesar the last 4 or 5 years coaching
Amen.
us.
Yeah. First, read the book, Get a Grip, then read the book Traction, then do some stuff internally, do a little bit of internal phasing in, I would say, of EOS, and then get yourself a professional implementer. And definitely the Profit Recipe out of Miami is great. And they'll do national stuff. But if you're down here in South Florida, definitely do have a conversation with those guys. But keep going and talk about your firm.
Yeah, so right now we're about, I don't know, 22, 23 employees. We have a full team doing some great, amazing things, 6 lawyers. I'm sure at the time that this is released, we would have already had our celebration for the 3,000th person that we've helped achieve their best future.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And, as lawyers, we can be just go the next battle, the next win, the this, the that, short memories, right? Because also sometimes when we get our butts kicked or have a down moment, you got to have a short memory and just move on. But to sit back and reflect and go, because we have a counter in our office. It's a Smurl counter, SMIIRL counter. Really cool. And we update it every week with every case that we close. And we just hit our 3,000th closed case. And we
That's
track it
awesome.
as, yeah, it's so cool. We've been doing it for about a year and a half, 2 years, but we've kept the numbers since I started the firm. And we say that we know that the high quality of work that we do and the real relationships that we build, that when we close a case, we know we've helped that person and that family achieve their best future. And so it's a daily reminder to all of us why we do what we do. It's a great reminder as clients come in. It's a great talking point. It's an internal marketing piece. It's an external marketing piece. It's a team engagement piece. We're having a big multi-week social media celebration about it that we're going to be posting. So it's really cool. And so that's something that's been going on with the firm right now. And it's just so amazing. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to
Congratulations.
have
That's
that
great.
impact. Yeah.
What's the 80/20? Is there an 80/20 rule, the type of cases that you handle?
Not quite in that. We do have some like DUI is about 25% of our business, which is good. We don't want it to be higher, but it's about 25% of our business and about 25% of our revenue. So for us, I haven't seen or found that. And we got some big federal cases, we got murders and big sex crimes, but we definitely track the number of cases and the percentage of what that is versus the revenue and the percentage of revenue. And we try to look and see, hey, where should we focus with our marketing? But it hasn't quite been the 20/80 rule on
Do,
that.
do you have a famous case, the celebrity case that you can talk about?
We've had a bunch of different things. We've been very fortunate to represent some celebrities, some professional athletes. We had the son of, I think it was Juan Gabriel, the famous Mexican singer. One of his sons was involved in a domestic dispute that was BS. We're in the media quite often. We always have something going on. Nothing quite like an OJ Simpson or something like that would just make absolute national
Yeah.
headlines. But although there is a very big case right now, probably right now, the biggest media case in Palm Beach County right now. We have, and it's been a complete media storm since February when it happened. Without going into too much detail, our client was Baker acted at a hospital in Wellington. The hospital and PBSO had some massive procedural and safeguarding failures, and our client attacked a nurse and is charged with attempted murder. And it's been all over local, national, and international news. And so we're defending that. And that's a very big criminal/mental health case that we're working on. It's a massive case, but nothing quite of the O.J. Simpson level or yet where we're going to have a Netflix documentary on it.
Thank you for doing great work and helping out people. And hopefully some people definitely need the help and you've helped
Right.
those folks. Let's talk a little bit about, I call it the ground game or grassroots marketing, networking, a lot of different names for it. We've done a couple webinars called rainmaking. So there's a few different community activity, like this falls into a really nice bucket of a lot of activity that we all should do for our businesses. You've been really great at it and you've got a real great footprint in the community, extremely well known. Maybe talk philosophically about how you decide where to allocate your efforts and the efforts of some of your other employees who are also super active in this stuff.
First of all, it has to be genuine. You have to want to do it, and you have to pick what you want to do and why you want to do it. So it has to be authentic, genuine, and intentional. It just has to. You can't just say, well, I'm going to do this because so-and-so got on stage and said, this is good, right? What's your purpose? What's your passion? I was born and raised in South Florida, first generation. I don't live here because this is where I grew up. I live here because this is where I want to live, and I love living here. And one of the reasons back in 2008 that I left the prosecutor's office again is because I wasn't helping people, the community, the way I wanted to. I was a high school basketball coach for 10 years. And you see a lot of things when you're dealing with kids and families and in the community. So that's always been a big focus of mine, but I couldn't do it so much when I was a solo or when we were a small firm because I was grinding. I was making the sausage every day. And so now that I don't have my own caseload. I'm still involved in some of our big cases and I still want to help and mentor and be a great teammate to our lawyers. But now that I'm not making the sausage every day, I can actually do what I want to have this impact. So there's a few things that have happened over the years. 2017 was that first time when I'm starting to say, okay, now I have some time. So what next? And I've known the family that created a local charity called In Jacob Shoes. We donate shoes to kids in need throughout all of South Florida. And I said, okay, how can I turn this into a community impactful thing that's from the heart, but how can I also turn it into a marketing opportunity? Because marketing is not a bad thing. It's a good thing when it's genuine and authentic. So we said, all right, every referral that we get, whether they hire us or not, we're going to donate a pair of shoes. And so since 2017, we're at, I think, 1,150, maybe 1,200 pairs of shoes. We have a second SMERL counter in our office that lists the amount of referrals that we've received. And so it's a great marketing tool. It's a great way to continue to remind people that we love referrals without having it come across as inauthentic or needy or begging. And we tell a great story and we can see the impact of it. And after working with them for about 3 or 4 years, I think in 2020 or 2021, they asked me to be on the board of directors. And so I've been very involved with In Jacob Shoes. And look, the American Red Cross, they do great things. And anybody can text a number and donate $10 to American Red Cross or hurricane relief or something during a football game.
And you feel good.
Yeah, but you don't see it. You don't feel it. This is a great local charity. And my whole team is invested. So that's the very first thing that we did in 2017.
Oh, I love that. So for every referral, you donate a pair of shoes. Is that the simple math?
And yeah, and whether we get hired or not, early on, I was like, I don't want to make it based on conversions.
Right.
I just want to make it based on referrals. Let's donate more money, more shoes. Let's do it. Let's get the numbers up. So even if people don't hire us based on the referral, we still donate, which is amazing.
That's great. That's great. Congratulations. And I love that initiative. And let me know if they have an annual event or something. We'll be there with you.
Oh, they do. So in October, we have a big gala in Boca West. So, okay, I'll make sure
get me on the list.
Talk about that. Okay, it's amazing.
Adam's team, when you're listening, put me on the list.
Okay, we will.
That's fantastic. And then, so those are some of the big projects that you do. Obviously, that's great. And how about let's talk about the networking groups. I know you're active in Provisors. I like to mention it because a lot of folks haven't heard about it, at least here on the
Right.
East Coast. I guess it started in California and it's extremely well known. It's probably about 50% lawyers, maybe 10 or 20% accountants, and 30% they let the rest of us hang out with you all, those of us who work with attorneys. And Provisors, I like to say it's like a more sophisticated version of a networking group, of like your local networking group, because it's professionals and everybody there seems to be pretty high level in terms of their networking. Talk about groups like Provisors, BNI, lawyer networks, bar associations. How do you get involved and what do you share with folks as best practices?
Right. So for me, I don't go to the bar association stuff. I did in 2008 when I started the firm, and I just didn't like it. It was inauthentic. A lot of people just complaining and seeing who can one up each other on how much they hate the practice of law or want to complain. So nowadays, I don't really go to those. I
Yeah,
know for some people, it's a great thing for them. It's just, it doesn't bring me energy. I like being around high level people who want to grow and adapt and change and do big things. I went to a few BNIs as a guest over the years and always struggled with it. Do I, don't I? And for me, just that it's every week. So for me, I don't think it was great, but I know there's thousands of people across the country that BNI is absolutely amazing for. And when I found out about Provisors last year, my initial thing was, okay, it probably won't work for me, just like BNI doesn't work for me. But my friend who asked me to join, I said, just have an open mind and look into it. And so as I went through it and started and guessed at a few places, I'm like, okay, it's once a month. It's not as focused or on referrals or guilt. You're not going to be guilt ridden if you don't make referrals right away. It's not as much pressure. It's more about authentic relationships, which is what I enjoy. And a lot of it's over Zoom now. And the nationwide network, it's so easy to guest. So that's been really cool where I can hop on and be in a lawyer's affinity group in Chicago, Boston, LA, Atlanta, or New York and connect with lawyers across the country, to make sure that I now have referrals for different kind of cases all across the country and that they can refer to me and my firm when one of their friends or clients comes down to Florida, because we do have a saying down here, come on vacation, don't leave on probation. And even with our federal practice, that our federal practice is nationwide. It's really great for that regard. And then locally, I can guest at any of the Miami, Boca, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm chapters as well. And it's been a very good group. And I have been meeting a lot of high level people. You have to be at least 10 years in your profession. And it is a little bit more geared towards professional networking rather than just business owner networking.
that's it. I forgot that the 10 years is a great dividing dividing line.
It's a good filtering mechanism. It's
Yeah,
not always accurate. Look, one of my lawyers, Scott, he's been a lawyer. He just turned 30. He's absolutely brilliant. He's an amazing lawyer. He should, I mean, top notch. He's at that 5 mark, not 10. And we all know some people who maybe have agencies or have been lawyers for
yeah,
20 years who aren't so great. But it is a good first layer filtering mechanism 90% of the time, I'd
yeah.
say.
I just called it adult networking, but I forgot about the 10-year. It kind
Right.
of skews it up a little bit. And then I was the education chairman for one of my networking groups for 2 years in a row. And I studied a lot of this stuff and have a couple presentations on the 10 golden rules of networking. And we've done, as I mentioned, the rainmaking webinar. If you want to learn some of this stuff, there's really good basics and some pretty advanced strategies. But what do you consider to be the basics? Like, how do you, a lot of people go to a BNI or a Provisors or a bar association and they go for 3 meetings and they say, oh, it doesn't work. I didn't get any business.
Right.
What does work for you? What do you recommend?
Yeah. First of all, again, authentic relationships. Everybody can spot out the person who's in it for themselves. And that is a major turnoff. So you have to come in and be intentional about building authentic, real relationships. And then it's about consistency. This is a long game. If you need clients now, then hire Jay and do some PPC and some LSA and do some direct response marketing, digital, whatever, if you need clients right now. And that is the hunting. But this networking is farming. It's the long-term play. You're sowing the seeds, you're building the relationships because, and you never know, especially for us. Yes, we have certain avatars of people who are better referral relationships than others, but anybody and everybody can refer me. And when we're also talking about more of the brand play, right? Yes, there's billboards, there's TV, radio, that type of brand, but there's also just as you were saying, which is a great compliment. And I still don't think I'm there yet, but you're like, oh, Adam's so well known in the community. And thank you for that. But we have a lot more to go and a lot more to do. But it's just about consistently being seen and being known as a giver, not a taker, and as somebody who's genuinely interested in having real relationships and just a little bit over time and over time, right? Jay, if we met last month, you wouldn't say those things, but you and I have known each other now for a good 3 years, 4 years, and we've hung out 25 times and all these different things in many different places across the country and locally. It just takes time to build,
Yeah.
and you have to be in it for the long run.
Yeah, there's a great line in networking, which is know and trust, and Provisors goes a little bit further, which is know, like, trust, refer. So know, like, trust means you've got to really get to know someone, and that doesn't happen overnight. And then you've got to get to like them. And I know I don't like everyone in my groups, and I don't actually trust everyone in my groups. And I really try hard to recommend the folks in my Provisors, for example. But if that person didn't follow up, if I gave them a lead, or you don't consistently hear great things about them from the other folks in the group, then you don't always have to refer that person in your group. And then refer is super important, because if you give to get, you give to be legitimate and wholesome and honest and authentic, like you said, then obviously you're going to give, and it's going to come back to you both literally and figuratively. Like the people who are always giving referrals in the group, you always want to help them out. You want to give those
And
people referrals.
absolutely. And even more than in addition to referrals, it could be mentorship, advice, friendship. And I've been so fortunate to have some of the most amazing mentors in my life, especially the last 10 years or so since I made an intentional commitment to grow the firm and to learn about marketing, management, business, to grow, to level myself up personally and professionally, that I'm so blessed to, because there's so many people that are so giving out there. And
Yeah.
for especially if there's lawyers listening to this or whatever, if you're young or you're starting out or whatever, it can be very lonely. But there are communities across the country of the most amazing giving people that just genuinely want to help. And you just got to find it, know they're out there and find them.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. And you have to open the door to it. And so how do
right.
you do that? You join a professional organization, and then you participate. Like you said, you show up. You mentioned you're going to be leading one of these groups going forward. You get involved on the management of the group. And there's so many more opportunities that come with all those things. God bless, and keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah,
I definitely don't want to
we're
run out of
starting Boca
time.
4.
Yeah.
Yes, Boca 4.
Provisors group starting new and looking for some great prospects.
Yes.
So we want to make sure we get time to talk about the internship program. And that's something you talked about at TGR Live, our annual conference. And it's a really great vehicle for a lot of different things. You're helping people, getting some links. So why don't you tell us about the internship program?
Yeah. So yeah, it's something that just like our referrals within Jacob's Shoes, it's just evolved over the years. And when I started the firm in 2008, all of a sudden next year it's, oh, my neighbor's son needs an internship. Can he shadow you? And just over the years, it was more of just come hang out. And people in criminal law are used to having interns. I was a certified legal intern at the state attorney's office. So if you're a PD or a prosecutor, you're used to having interns around who can really do a lot of work and help. And plus, it's fun. Again, I've always loved mentoring people. I was been a high school basketball coach for 10 years. I coached the Maccabi games, the Jewish Olympics. We won
Great.
a gold medal in Houston last
Congratulations.
year.
Awesome.
We have the entire team coming back. We're gonna run it back in Pittsburgh in August of this year. I'm very excited. It's back-to-back golds or bust for us. And so I've had that, but in COVID, everything changed. We took on 13 interns. Now it was all on Zoom and people thought I was crazy, but what did we have to do during May, June, and July? Not much. And so we gave them a great experience. It was on Zoom. They went to Zoom court, depositions, Zoom depots. And I was like, okay, this is evolving. And I looked at it. And honestly, this was direct from Ben Glass, one of my mentors. He really ingrained in me is,
Love Ben.
yes, we do. Of just, Adam, if you believe that you are the best firm out there, then it's your duty to grow. And if you're helping people, it's your duty to grow. And if you want to be that community influencer, the pillar of the community, then it's your duty to do things. And I thought about it during COVID. And I was like, everybody's losing their amazing summer plans. People are reaching out to me for internships. We're going to take everybody because we are that community and relationship builder. We are pillars here. So it's our duty, it's our moral obligation to do it. And we did. And it ended up being great. And then we've iterated it over the years. So now, 2025, it's like version 5.0. And what it is now is it's a formal structured program. And here we are in April, right? I'm sure this will come out either in April or May of 2025, maybe, depending on who knows how backlogged you are. But where we're at now, we've had 300 applicants for our program. Now, we put some things out on LinkedIn and Indeed, we pay for a little bit, but also we show up top of Google for our internship page. We've done a pretty good job of SEOing it up. Obviously, it's not that very competitive keyword terms. So it's been pretty easy to get that to rank. And people want to be part of it. And we take 12 interns every summer and we've turned it into a curriculum. So there's a learning and teaching component to it. And this is an unpaid internship. And every year we've had people who have moved to South Florida for an unpaid internship because of the value that we provide, the experience that we provide. So I'm leading the curriculum piece, the speaker piece. We're getting people from all across the country, and it's criminal justice focused. So we're getting people from the Innocence Project and other criminal justice organizations that we're partnering with, prosecutors, public defenders, judges. We're doing field trips. We're watching some important documentaries. We started a book club last year. And so I'm running that piece of it. And then we have 4 lawyers that are primarily in production, and they usually get 3 interns apiece. And they're the ones working on discovery, working on body cameras, writing motions to suppress. And they're getting the day-to-day mentorship and guidance of what it's like to carry the briefcase as a private criminal defense lawyer in the trenches. They're going to court with us, prepping for trials. The number one word that I use for this internship is immersive.
I
They are
love it.
fully immersed within the firm and the
And these are
culture.
law school students?
So we have 3 tracks.
Yeah.
So we take 3 high school students from American Heritage only. I teach at American Heritage. My kids go to American Heritage. I used to coach the American Heritage basketball team. We're very close with American Heritage. So we leave 3 spots for them. Now we don't take any other high school students. They have a 9-week track because the high school summers are not that long. Then for college and law students, we have a 12-week track because their summer experience is much larger. But they're primarily giving up 12 of the 14 or so weeks of their summer to do this for an unpaid internship. And the feedback we got is amazing. We've done net promoter scores and surveys in the past, which is really cool. We've had some great, amazing feedback of how can we make it better and better. But it's not for everybody. So we make sure that we're intentional because, again, we got 300 applicants this year and we had to whittle it down to 12. And we're getting the best of the best. We have Duke Law School, Washington University Law School. We've got Ivies, Chicago, UChicago, Miami, Florida, all across the country. Just amazing students, highest academic and just hustlers. But we're very intentional to say, listen, the schools won't give you school credit. We're trying to get them school credit, but because we're a for-profit business, most of them shy away from it. It's unpaid. How bad do you want it? And describing what it is. And look, say, listen, if criminal defense is not your passion, it's not for you. If you need to get paid, it's not for you. If you really want to be with a judge or something that you think maybe is more prestigious, it's not for you. And so we have everybody sign an integrity statement because we open up applications in January because we certainly don't. And we're very intentional saying, look, don't apply unless we're your number one option. Let's not put you through this because we do have a rigorous application process as well. And of course, we have tons of fun with the interns. It really is the highlight of our year. It's 25% of our year, and everybody in the firm loves it. And what we've done this year to take it the next step further is really just being more intentional about partnering with the criminal justice orgs in a deeper way. And so getting them to come in and speak even more, but using it as a way to say that we're official partners with them. And it's helped. I'm a very big believer in let's use all parts of the pig, right? So I started within Jacob's Shoes. We're doing this great stuff. Let's turn it into a referral and marketing play as well. Okay, we're using everything. So we have this. It's amazing. Let's use it as a marketing play, brand building play, backlink strategy, all these different things. Why limit ourselves to one thing? And it didn't happen overnight, but it's been 15 years of having interns, and now it's morphed into a thing. And last year we shot an amazing video that's a 4-minute promotional video with our interns, and you get to see the day to day. So it's evolved over the years, and it's just an amazing program. And it's one of the most favorite things that I'm involved in the firm. And that is my baby. That's one of my babies in the
I
firm.
love it. And have you hired some of the interns?
Not yet, but it's interesting that there's a few that are now public defenders. And I'm like, when are you coming home to us? Yes. And one of the things that I'm going to do next, I need to be more intentional about connecting the alumni network. So we have a vast alumni network now, but it's usually been one-offs where somebody will text me and say, hey, I'm in town. I'd love to stop by or see the new crop of interns. But I want to be able to put them in a Slack group, a Facebook group, a WhatsApp group, whatever it
Yeah.
is, and to be able to more intentionally connect and go, oh, you go to Cornell. 2 of our former interns are at Cornell Law right now, and let me connect you.
Oh,
Right. Or
great.
you
Yeah.
want a job at the public defender's office in Palm Beach or Broward, let me put you in touch with former intern X, Y, and Z, because I think that's so important as well when we're talking about our South Florida community, being
And the
that
PR, I
connector.
guess, is pretty straightforward. You send out a press release. Any other tips for PR, and then how do you generate links with the program?
Yeah. So it's, yes, press releases, a lot on LinkedIn, just a lot of grassroots, just calling, emailing, saying Adam wants to meet you, letting them know that we're a big deal in criminal defense and we want to partner with them. The links are a little harder as we've been doing it this year because a lot of the orgs, they don't know what they're doing with their websites and they're so busy and they're this. So we're like, we'll do it for you. We'll put it on. Here's a blog
Right.
post where it's
That's great.
traditional, but the same traditional link building with some of the other places like that where you might write the blog article for them and put
Yeah.
it there. But it's something that is so hyper focused on criminal law, criminal defense that even if they don't have the highest domain authority on their site, it's so hyper local and hyper focused on criminal that I think it's really cool. And I'll give you an example. So I was on Ben Glass's podcast a month ago talking about this. And I said to Ben, I go, Ben, do you have any criminal justice orgs that you work with or deal with or anybody you can refer me to? And he goes, actually, you would love the people from the Institute for Justice, IJ. They're based out of DC, Fairfax, Northern Virginia. I've been talking to them about a bunch of things. And he's not a criminal lawyer. He's Ben. Everybody knows Ben. And he put me in touch with them, and they have a Miami field office. I talked to them. They're going to come in person and speak to our interns, and we're building a relationship with them. So it's amazing. And it's helping build the firm's brand, my brand. And back 15 years ago, when I just started, it's hustle markets, sell, it's grind, it's cases. I didn't care about procedure processes. I didn't care about brands. I'm like, I need money right now. But now that we are very established, and when I go to the mega PI conferences, they talk about 2 things and really 2 things only: brand and intake, brand and intake. And so now I'm a huge believer in building your brand. But I couldn't focus on that when I was a solo with no staff or a solo with one legal assistant, because it was just, I need cases and I got to do all the work. So now that I'm in a position to truly build our brand, we're focusing on that as well.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're that startup and you're doing the hustle, trust us both. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And
Yes.
once you get to 2 employees, 3 employees, 4 employees, and then you can invest a little bit of your own time in brand, and you can, and all these other things, networking and
Right.
giving back to the community. It is very fulfilling, and it's out there for you. Just keep
Oh
grinding
yeah.
for a couple
Right,
more
right, right.
years. Yeah.
Look, not everybody needs to build a firm like what we're building. You have to be intentional and do what you want.
Yeah.
But this has taken, I think we're in our 17th year in
Yeah.
business since 2008. And it's just iteration upon iteration every year. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting. We're around 20, 21 years and around 22, 23 people, about the same and running EOS. So it's interesting parallels. Is one new product you mentioned. You're also starting some mentorship. Love to hear a little bit
Right.
about that.
Yeah, and that's the latest iteration that came from this. So as we were having lots of planning meetings in January and February with this summer's internship and really having a major new focus on the criminal justice orgs, we were talking it through. And after getting some feedback from them too, for better or worse, the internship program is a little elitist. We're taking the best and the brightest. And there's a very strong place to have the best and the brightest students at all across the country come here and be fully immersed in our firm. But we really thought about it and we said, but what about the non-traditional candidates? Maybe somebody who graduated from a technical college, maybe somebody who had a criminal case or an issue and is struggling, a good person, but is struggling and it's difficult to get hired by the public defender's office. Maybe they don't want to be a lawyer, but maybe they want to be a legal assistant, a paralegal, an intake specialist. They want to work for the clerk of the courts, but something in the criminal justice field. We can't bring them into the summer intern because it's more about the best and the brightest traditional students. And our summer internship is non-paid. So can we really thought it through and we said, let's develop a separate mentorship program that is paid. And it can be geared towards the non-traditional students. We're going to start it in January of 2026. And run it either twice a year or once a year and have it be separate and apart from the internship, and where they can roll up the sleeves and learn to be a legal assistant, learn to be an intake specialist, whatever. Best case, it leads to full-time employment with us. Worst, good case, they've gained skills, it's on their resume, and maybe we can help them get a job at the clerk or the public defender's office. Worst case, it doesn't work out with that particular person, but we keep doing it. So again, with the community focus and the giving back and being authentic when we're coming to criminal justice orgs that are really dealing with some people who are down on their luck, we can't just bring in this elitist internship program. There has to be more behind it.
Now, I have a great hook that we developed for our internship program. And if I tell you, you got to promise to keep it secret, okay? And I
Okay.
know you're going to want to use that this summer. So I hired a friend of mine, one of my tennis buddies. He said this kid could really use some help. And so I hired an intern and I didn't really think it through. He was a high school intern. We'd always had college interns. And so his first day he comes in and I asked him if he knew Excel or PowerPoint or any of the Google programs, and he didn't really know that. So I said, okay, just come to a meeting. And then after the meeting, he said, can you explain something to me? The client was asking you to explain cost per lead and cost per case. Can you explain how you calculate that? And then I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy can't even do Excel work for us. And now I'm going to have to explain everything. And a light bulb went off. And I said, okay, I'll make you a deal. I'm going to explain this to you. And I went up on the whiteboard and explained the difference, how we calculate cost per lead and cost per case. And I said, but you're going to take notes and you're going to write up a blog post. And he said, oh, what's that? And I said, okay, go spend some time with George. George is going to show you how to get a blog up on the website. And then I was sitting with someone and she asked me a question about websites or something. I said, oh, you got to read this blog post that our intern wrote. So she reads this blog post. She says, that's the best description of that I've ever heard. And it's funny because they always say you should write it about a grade 10 language. And guess what?
Yeah, the 10th grader.
No, no.
Yeah.
I was the editor of every one of these blogs. And then another light bulb went off. I said, this kid's written 10 or 15 really great blogs that everybody's loving because of the simplicity of the communication. So Matt, the Intern's Guide to Digital Marketing was born. We launched the book. It was a best-selling book on Amazon for long enough to get a screenshot. And then Matt was lucky enough to parlay this into a full ride scholarship at the college of his choice. And then they were so proud. Oh, you're an author. We're so happy to have an author. I must admit, I did a lot of the work, but it was really a great thing. And he's got a tremendous career now in the computer sciences business. I want you to please steal that if appropriate, or anybody else It's a great way that I think, honed in his learning because he had to take these notes in the meetings, write it up. And I'm like, go sit with the social media person, write a guide to Facebook posts, and go sit with the analytics person and write a basic guide to Google Analytics. So there's some great content out there. Matt, the intern's guide to digital marketing on Amazon. And it's a great strategy for if you had every one of your interns write a blog post about one topic area, you could compile a book and publish that as the summer intern guide to criminal justice.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
great.
only have a couple minutes left, but let's update the short one-liners that we did last time. Any new apps or techniques for personal productivity?
AI is everybody's looking into it. I went to the ABA tech show and was just my first time. I was just blown away with all the different stuff. I haven't used it yet, but Plaud, Plaud, they have the Plaud Note and the Plaud Note Pen. The really cool stuff. The pin is like a wearable, clippable pin that can just
Yeah,
record conversations and different things. I'm really looking into that because I think that can really just accelerate kind of meetings and learning and ideas and different things. I have 20 different ideas a day, 19 and a half for terrible, but it is what it is. That's something. And just we're really having a big focus on tech and AI this year. So there's a
I
bunch of
love it.
different things. But I would say that
Yeah.
Plaud Note Pen.
We always ask best business books. Anything in the last 6 months?
Oh, 6 months. Let's see. Let me open
I
up my
mean,
Kindle right
I mean,
now. I
since
got
you
it right here.
last podcast interview.
So what I'm reading now, which has been really good, is I Am John Galt. And I'm slowly reading it. It's I Am John Galt, today's heroic innovators building the world and the villainous parasites constructing something. And it's from a group of people of the Ayn Rand philosophies
Yeah,
and explaining how certain famous business people and entrepreneurs, which characters they would associate from the Ayn Rand books and different things like that. So it's really interesting. I'm just in the beginning of it, but in talking and just comparing it, and it's interesting because it's not just a business book. It's blending in some of the characters from her works and everything.
I love
And
it. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of hers. Really, it's very controversial, but I like what she stands for, most of what she stands for.
Yeah, that's great. Blogs, podcasts, YouTubes. What's catching your audio and video time these days?
Well, your stuff is always excellent.
Thank
Always. I'm following Jeff Hampton. His stuff is just fantastic as
you.
well. Big fan of his. You definitely made the right move by bringing him on this year. Just good stuff. And we're still
Jeff
trying
Hampton's
to
a criminal attorney out of Texas, and he has 20 or 30,000 views every month on his YouTube. He's really blowing up.
oh yeah, it's more than 20 or
Yeah, no, no,
30,000.
I'm
It's
wrong. I'm wrong.
probably
Yeah, it's like
probably 2 million,
two
I'd
two
say, or
million views.
some.
Yeah,
It's incredible. We're getting like 40, 50,000 a month. He's
yeah,
getting probably 2 million. Yeah, just he's been unbelievable with that. So yeah, we have a
yeah.
big focus this year on YouTube.
Great. And what's a great introduction for you or a referral?
So of course anybody, but we do a lot in the mental health space. It's a big passion of mine. And I think mental health, substance abuse, and criminal defense go hand in hand. So anybody in that space, any herd leader, any group leader, anybody who is forward thinking, whether it could be a referral for more networking, right? Or more direct, somebody who's actually in a position to refer business to the firm, any of those. But I'm always looking to connect more. I'm being very intentional now about being on LinkedIn. I'm starting to
Right.
see the benefit of LinkedIn before, whereas maybe 2 years ago it was, oh, people are just spamming me on LinkedIn. So I'm up to 1,900 followers. We have certain internal goals. Jay, I'm sure you're much higher than that. And just really connecting with people on LinkedIn and other thought leaders, business leaders, high level professionals.
Yeah, love LinkedIn. And last question, where can people find you and get in touch with you?
Now let's say LinkedIn. My email is
Yeah,
adam@rossenlawfirm.com. Email me, find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm still on Facebook, more for the groups and stuff that I'm in. We're everywhere, which is cool. I think I'm pretty easy to get in touch with. And anything I can do to connect with anybody, to help anybody. I've been so fortunate to have amazing mentors and friends and people in my life. So anything I can do to help others, I genuinely mean it. Please reach out anytime.
Adam, thank you so much. This was great. I took a ton of notes on the internship program, and we're going to beef ours up this summer. And I thank you for being a two-time guest.
Yeah, I'll either be back next year for a third time or I'll get fired and you'll never hear from me again. We'll hopefully let Jay know you like me or let him know you hate me. But either way, we'll know.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the 10 Golden Rules of Internet Marketing for Law Firms podcast. Please send questions and comments to podcast@10goldenrules.com. That is podcast@tengoldenrules.com.